All right, friends. Woo, it's a little loud. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the live stream, the weekly live stream. What a week. What a week. Donald Trump getting arrested. I did not see that coming. Oh boy. All right, let's see who we got in the chat today. Let's have a look. Cash in King, welcome, sir. Steve, Martin, Monty, the boys, welcome, guys. It's good to have you. Tonight we're gonna look at some very exciting things. I'm surprised with Donald Trump that it took so long, because in 2016 people were completely outraged about Donald Trump, me included, and so on. And now I'm more like, wow, really gonna arrest him now? So I don't know. I read that it was like 34 charges and like maximum jail time, like 130 years or something. I think. It's very intense. By the way, guys, let me know if the audio is good, if the music is too loud, if we need to adjust anything. It's a good mix, this one. Mars DJ set. Oh boy. Well, guys, we have been working hard. We've been working hard at improving X mode. And you know, this is an algorithm that goes back to 2018 that has performed super well, super well, but also had its shortcomings. And these shortcomings is, you know, something I've been thinking about for a long time, how we could improve. And welcome to Livestream, PK. And there were several things that needed to be fixed around X mode, which, if you don't know, is what you're seeing here. Hang on. Whoop. I think I'm just gonna slightly reduce this and then increase it slightly over here. I think that's better. And these shortcomings to X mode needed to be fixed in a way, and that's really what we've been working on for a while, was to how could we make X mode better, because there were several problems with X mode, and these problems included maybe some visual confusion from people, maybe for myself even, was like, well, which level do we trade, right? When we are looking at this, like, well, which level do we actually trade when it comes to the X mode levels, right? Do we buy here? Do we buy here? Do we buy down here? What do we wait for? And these confusion doesn't exactly make anything easy in trading. So what we've been working on is this version called the neural X mode. I'm gonna show you for a second here. And I think this is insanely cool. So what we are doing is the same way we're using X mode before, is that now we are mapping a history over the support and resistance as it has moved throughout the time and moved with the chart. Because before with X mode, you could only see real time what's happening now. You couldn't see history and you couldn't really tell. And what you will see with this version of neural X mode is that it's extremely accurate. It's really good. It's really good. And at the same time, I and the team have removed basically everything in between the resistance and the support levels. And the reason for that is because a lot of people, including myself, kind of got lost trading in this middle ground where you really had no business. What you needed to do, you know, was you needed to trade down here or up here. And all these levels in between, just in my opinion, maybe didn't actually help that. Now, this is of course not the final version. This is like an early preview. But what we're doing here is that we're using artificial intelligence to calculate and predict the strength of these levels as the chart progresses. So as the market moves along, these values gets updated in real time. And what that will tell us really is give us an indication of the strength of these levels before the market even gets to it. And that's really the key here. The key is really to get a better idea before the market comes down, like, you know, how well does this market do? Oh, sorry, I hit the... And, you know, it's really good. And I think tonight we're gonna trade a little bit with it, because the cool thing about this is that it works across all the time frames. So right now we're looking at SPX here, and this model is still a very early model, but it was trained on about 1 million candles, 15-minute candles, and the X mode levels together to build some sort of idea of the strength of these levels. So of course it's very early, but we'll already start to have a pretty good idea about how it performs. So all we gotta do now is really wait for the market to come down and trade here, because we are not looking to engage with the market while it's up here. And that's really the key, because before, you know, it was very easy to manufacture a trade with X mode in between levels, but it had a rather low probability of working out most of the time in my experience. The other cool thing about the Neural X mode is that it adapts really fast to the changes in the market, and it updates real time for each candle, whereas X mode in the past would update based on a sequence in the market, like a certain amount of candles, or it would update based on the price action occurring around the levels. So we got US open in about 23 minutes, so we're gonna prepare for that. We're gonna prepare for that and see if we can trade a little bit tonight. So, you know, you have to understand that these levels dynamically adjust as the market moves, but it does a really good job of capturing the max volatility and the max, you know, the maximum that these candles, you know, the volatility really moves these candles and the market itself. So this is 5-minute time frame. On 1 hour time frame, we can see that we got a level down here at 40.74, and I think that's really what we're going to be looking at buying tonight. And then we'll see how it does. Now the key, of course, is that we scale into the position. So what that means is that we don't just buy everything in here at the support level, because as we can see in the past with this market, a lot of times when it comes down to touch these levels, it will go deeper, depending on, you know, the situation of the market itself. But a lot of times it will go all the way to extension 1 before it actually turns around. Other times it will only really touch the support. And this is the challenge. The challenge is really to figure out how much do we buy at the certain levels. And because that's really hard to figure out from the get-go, the best way to approach it is just to scale into it. And the second part is that you really got to know your time frame here, because if you're operating on a 1-minute time frame, you can see you got to be really quick, right? Like you have a few minutes, you have about 12 minutes from this bottom to get out of your position here. But if I say so, it's doing a really good job. This is doing a really good job of capturing these moves. So we'll see what we can do tonight. And we'll also see how this market, this model performs on other markets, because this is an early model. And, you know, we can see that it's currently telling us that there's a minus 30% strength on this support level. That's not that's not great, you know, that's not a strong level. And the reason that it's predicting that is probably because that it's already been hammered here, you know. So I think a game plan for tonight, I mean, if we could get a dive into here and then somehow make it up here and get a short here, I think that would be an ideal trade. Okay, so we got a few more guys in the chat. Welcome, Avalsani and Dean Owen. Welcome, guys. Look, I think this is really gonna change things for people because, you know, originally when we started developing these strategy trades and so on, it was very focused on doing it in a way that was like the most probable way to make people money. But I have since let go of that. And instead, I have embraced the idea that people can trade it the way that they feel suits them best. So that is basically what this new mode does. And it works across 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, 15 minute time frame, and 1 hour time frame. Philip, Dean is saying it's almost predictive. Well, that is the goal. That is the goal of this. The goal is for this to be predictive, so we have an idea of the strength of these levels before the market comes down. Now, there's a lot of work still to be done on the models itself. The models itself, figuring out, do we build like a master model where we train, you know, we just take all the data from Forex, crypto, stock market, metals? Do we take all that data and train the model on this? Or do we build grouped models where we basically train Forex as a group, we train crypto as a group, we train stock market as a group, we train, you know, all individual? Or do we build a model for every single market and then do an ensemble model where we basically take every single market? And if you imagine there's like, let's say 100 markets, and we take all these 100 markets and we put them together in an ensemble model. And what that means is we built a model where you have all these different, we build a master model that has all these different individual models, composed of all these individual models. And each of these models gets a vote in the prediction of what this level's reaction is gonna look like. So there's a lot of work to figure out in that regard. But already now I can say we've come really, really far, because one thing is predicting the current levels and building an idea, you know, about where to buy and sell in terms of the bands. Another thing is predicting the strength of these models, right? So we already come really far in terms of being able to build these really good channels that's able to capture the price. So next part is fine tuning, and that takes a little bit of time. So we got some questions. Philip is asking, what is this? Well, this is the new engine behind the ability for Companion to and Navigator to figure out how you should buy and sell and how the AI should buy and sell. This is really like the ground basis of that. This is what makes the whole thing work, right? Monty's saying it resembles Bollinger Band. Yes, it does. It looks like Bollinger Bands. It looks like VWAP, you know, volume weighted averages price bands. It looks like a lot of these different bands exist today, but I think you will find if you overlay them with Bollinger Band, for example, right? Like if you put Bollinger Band, you'll see it's very different. It's a very different result. So PK is saying, so only support resistant extension levels, no more rest of level. Well, I'm not sure yet, but in my opinion, you know, what we're trying to do here is build a trading strategy that's really powerful that anyone can really execute. And I think it becomes a lot more obvious to people how to trade this when they don't really have an opportunity. I mean, they can, of course, but they're not, the design doesn't tell them to trade here, right? It just tells them to trade down here or up here where we have high probability moves. So I do think it would be nice with a neutral level in the middle. So I think we might add that just to have some kind of target after we get a bounce or we get a rejection from here. So let's see. Yeah, that's the same that July is saying. Julie, fuck, I forgot your name, bro, from the chat. Yeah, that's the same. I agree. The targets might be missing here, and we can probably get some help from the old X mode to figure out that part. And maybe it is a little bit too simple here in between. I don't know. This is like 1.0 version. This is like the first version anyone sees, right? So I think this is gonna turn out to something really beautiful and really useful. So Philip is asking if we use this together with X mode more powerful. Well, what do we want, right? Like when you say powerful, for me, powerful is the ability to generate money from the market consistently. Like that's what power means to me. And I think, you know, as much as I love the original X mode, let's turn it on, right? As much as I love the original X mode, I think it creates a lot of confusion in many ways for people, you know, which levels to really pay attention to. But at the same time, this new version is very simple. So maybe there is some, you know, there is some combination or something like this. Let's see. Because this is a completely different version of X mode. It operates completely different. And again, it's a very early stage version of it, but it works really well. Ulis, all right, Ulis, good to have you back, bro. X mode still works. There's nothing wrong with X mode. What this is an improvement of X mode. X mode will remain functional, it will exist in its current form as you know it today. There's nothing is going to change in that regard. You know, what I'm preparing for right now is really to level up Breakfree Trading. Level up Breakfree Trading to a point where we can stick to the original promise to people, which was that you can spend 20 minutes in front of the chart a day and you can generate maybe profit between 3 to 6%, you know, monthly or weekly, depending on the time frame that you're working on. Dean is asking if I can include demand imbalance arbitrage. I don't know what that is. I don't know what demand imbalance arbitrage is. That an indicator or something? PK, what do you? PK is asking if I can interpret the area between 2200 and 2300. Which area? Do you mean? Because I don't have an area of 2200 here. I only have an area of like, you know, 4000 to 4125. And yeah, Philip, you're spot on. The goal here is to simplify it. The goal here is to significantly make it easier for people to approach trading and consistently make money from it. Okay, I got you. Here, yeah? This stuff here? Because I'm not sure we're in the same time zone. But I think you mean this part. Yeah, got you. So I actually traded this last night just for fun. And I bought this initial bounce from here. And the point, you know, the ability to really decipher exactly how to approach this is the challenge. Because if you look at 15 minutes, you know, it will show you that it's going strong into this area, right? But if you look at like 5 minutes, it will show you that this area was breached much earlier, right? And then if you look at 1 hour, you'll see that I'm not sure that it even touched it. Yeah. So what is really important to understand is that these individual timeframes, you know, they really matters a lot to your trading style and what you're looking to do. I don't think the playback version is working at this moment. So you can see that we didn't even get a touch here yesterday. So on a 1 hour time frame, we're still waiting to buy down here. And that's also why I'm not too interested in the 15-minute time frame today, because of just how hard it was violated yesterday. And if you look at the if you look at the current strength that the neuron is predicting here, it's saying minus 30%. So that's not a very strong level, and I'm pretty sure I was saying something like that last night as well. I don't remember exactly what it was. I was interested in buying it the first time, and it did really well. Welcome, Sanya, to the live stream. So the same way we can see today, and you will also notice that the extension 1 right now, it just says value here, and it's because this extension 1 hasn't really been completely implemented the way to calculate the strength of it. So last night, if it was working correctly, and I don't really remember, to be honest, what should happen is that as this market comes down and it starts to fuck around here, and you can see that we get a bounce, but it keeps going down. What we should see really is the neurons start to predict weaker and weaker market. And that's really your indication that you don't really want to be trading. You don't really want to be trading it. And that's also why I'm not too keen to buy it today. I mean, maybe like the initial touch down here, like maybe this area here would be interesting to buy. But I'm not willing to trade it with size the same way that I was willing to trade it with size yesterday, because I think we're gonna see a lot more weakness in SPX tonight. We'll see. Can we look at the move from GBP, JPY? Well, we can. I don't know how well this model is really translating to GBP, JPY, because this is a model exclusively trained on SPX. But we can try to have a look. So what we need to do next, is really fine tune all these different models for all the different markets. And we also, because what I'm trying to do is that I essentially believe that whether it's 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, 12 hour, 1 day, whatever the time frame, I actually believe that price action move very similar depending on the time frame. You know, it's just that it's much slower on 1 hour for a candle to complete. But if you look at the overall structure of this, you will be able to go to 1 minute time frame and find very similar structures. So I believe there is an inherent correlation between the levels and the price action. And what I'm really exploring right now is that, can we build essentially a price action model that's, you know, that the AI will learn that it can translate to all the different time frames. I don't know how well it's really doing that at this point. I'm really not sure how well it's translating to all the different markets. And that's why I think we got to group it. But again, this is research. We got to research it. So there was a question about GBP, JPY. Let's see 15-minute time frames. So you can see we had a pretty good bounce here. We had another 2 really well bounces from here. Another really good bounce here, and now you can see we're starting to lose strength here. And like this looks a lot like weakness to me, what we're seeing here. But even here, you can see it does really well. Look at that bounce. Look at these bounces. Look at these bounces. Like, that's really good to me. Even if you bought, like this initial come down here, it's really not too bad. So PK is asking, So we'll have to look out for the strength of the levels. Well, again, guys, this is a very early version. What I want to do is really combine RTD with this. And that's just, you know, that hasn't been done at this point. But I think if we combine RTD with this, it will give a really, really good insight in how, you know, how the market performs. Like how these levels will perform depending on how the trend is developing with the levels. And this is like, for me, it's just very exciting because it's so early in the journey and I'm seeing really good results so far. So I think, you know, we keep working on this for a few weeks, few months, and we're gonna have some really, really incredible results. Okay, let's see. We're gonna Philip's asking, how do you think this will help new trader participant to learn more about the market? Well, I think, look, I had a friend and he never traded before. And I told him, I gave him a basic strategy, which was that just buy the support levels on X mode in a strong uptrend. Just keep doing that. And he turned his account from around $1,000 into like $12,000. And it was quite incredible because all he did was really just follow a simple rule, and that was find the strong uptrends, keep buying the support on 1 hour and 4 hour, and just repeat that. And he didn't know anything about trading. He didn't know anything about price action. He didn't know anything. He just followed this simple structure and it worked really well for him. He later got wrecked because he over leveraged and whatever, but that's not the point. The point is that a lot of times when newcomers come to trading, they don't know anything. They don't overcomplicate it. They just follow a simple strategy, and that gives them really good results because they're just following the strategy like a robot would execute it, you know. And I think by simplifying the levels, which was the same thing we tried to do with strategy mode, but by simplifying this even more, the way we're done here with the neural mode, I think it's just becoming incredibly clear and easy for people how they should approach this and how they, like, what they need to do, and all, because a lot of people including myself have, you know, often found ourselves just making mistakes in the market here in the middle of the ranging market where there wasn't really anything to do. And if you start by eliminating that, and then you just stay patient until you actually get a trade down here where it really matters, that's where you will see, you know, you'll see much better results than trying to engage with a market that's just ranging or just doing stupid shit here, you know. So I think it will help. I think it will help a lot, and I'm really excited to teach a new course on it. So Aegis is asking, so if the trend come very aggressive to extension point, we don't trade, only if the approach there is slowly. You know, we never know what's gonna happen, right? We never know exactly how it's gonna happen. But what you need to understand is that you gotta understand the time frames, because even though we had a very aggressive sell yesterday on SPX, right? Like we had this sell that was super aggressive right after touching the resistance up here. We had a huge sell-off, right? And on a 15-minute time frame, you know, of course it violates the support and the extension, and it goes all the way to extension 2 very fast. But if you go to 1 hour time frame or 30-minute time frame, you'll see it hasn't even gotten to support yet. So one of the challenges here is to figuring out which time frame you should really be trading on. And I believe that depends on your ability and your experience to sit in front of the desk and watch the market. Because lower time frames, of course, requires a lot more experience than the higher time frames. Because you can look here on the higher time frames, right? Higher time frames is on SPX. Oh wow, it even caught the bottom here. Look at that. It's incredible. The lower time frames is like you don't get that many. Sorry, the higher time frame, you don't get that many trades, but the trades you get are usually extremely good. Like look at this. Look at these bounces. is super, super, super good, you know. But how long between them? Like this between here and here, that's July, sorry, that's June and October. That's like 4 months, right? So maybe we get another one soon because it's been like 6 months. So maybe we get a big sell off here soon or something like that, you know. But if we go to 4 hour, you'll see it's much more frequent. And again, if you go to 1 hour, you'll see it's much more frequent, and it goes both directions, right? Like when the market is expanding up and when the market is retracting down. We'll come back and look at Bitcoin in a little bit, Martin. It's definitely interesting to look at Bitcoin as well. Jay got asked, does it repaint? No, it doesn't repaint. There's no repainting here. It just updates in real time. So whatever you see here now will not be changed for the next candle. But the next candle can, you know, depending on what happens, you can see you can have a very big, you can have a big expansion. Let's see if we have that anywhere. Here. Okay. So yeah, let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens, because you know the challenge now is to figure out like, well, how do we know which time frame to trade, right? Like which time frame do we trade? And again, I think it comes down to experience. But it has done a really good job of capturing SPX up here. Like it has done a really, really nice job. Martin is saying that the bands also double as a trend indicator. Yeah, to some degree, there's you know, there's definitely I mean, there's definitely a correlation between the trend, and you can also, if we pull X mode up, right? You can see that by the time that this thing starts going vertical, you can see RTD also. I mean, RTD was already bullish on this thing since 24th, but around here we start to get like this strong uptrend that definitely accelerates the strength of this local downtrend. This local trend. So Sona is not gonna automatically work with the new neural mode, and the reason that it's not gonna automatically work is because it's a very different way that it's working. And I think, you know, I'm looking at how can we build a better Sona, because to me, what I've noticed with Sona is that, you know, especially with the lower time frames we have introduced now, is that first you get a 1 minute setup, and if that fails, then you get a 5 minute setup, and when that fails, you get a 15 minute setup. And at the same time as you're getting all these different setups, you're also getting different setups in different markets. And often there's a you know, a correlation in these markets. So when something is moving, other things are moving as well. So when you get an opportunity that comes in, the same in crypto, right? So right now we have a 5 minute opportunity on this market, on this market, and this market, and which one do we take, right? Do we take all at the same time? No, we don't. We take one of them, but which one? And what I'm thinking we need to do for this new neural mode is instead of showing people the trades as they show up, I want to group all the markets together where they are behaving the way that we want them to behave according to the volatility. So what that means is that as we get a volatility spike and there's multiple markets starting to move together, we group them together, and we group them based on the volatility, but also the time frame, and maybe even the market as well. So you can see that these things are moving together, and they're basically the same thing, and we need to find out which one is the best one to take. And I don't think Sona is necessarily doing that so well right now, because Sona is, you know, is taking up a lot of space here at the same time. Like each trade shows the entire window of the market, you know, and that was the idea. The idea back then for me was, look, I want to see the history of these trades, and I want to see them. I want to be able to evaluate them in order to find out if I'm gonna take these trades or not. But most of the time, I find myself using this new Sonar, looking at this, but then immediately clicking view to actually check out the market. So actually, this preview window, it doesn't deliver really what I want to. Really, it doesn't deliver the information that I want to know in order to make the decision if this is the trade I want to take or something, because I almost always go to inspect it anyway. So what I'm thinking is that with the new neural mode, what I want to do is that I want to classify these markets based on that trend, based on the volatility and the current, what can you say, volatility spikes in the market that makes everything move together. I want to group them, and I want to have the ability to check them out and figure out, based on this current volatility spike that we see in the market, whether it's a news event or whatever it is, I want to be able to know how do I approach this the best way possible, and also which, what do I trade? Do I trade 1 minute? Do I trade 5 minute or 15 minute? Whoa. Time is running fast, guys. SPX already opened, huh? So what is it doing? What is SPX doing today? I mean, even on 1 minute, guys, I think it's just performing. I think it's performing really well. Look at that spike. Look at this spike. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So we can see actually on 1 minute time frame. So we also updated RTD, right? You can see on 1 minute time frame, we're getting a new downtrend. So why don't we try short this thing just a little bit for fun, just as a just for fun. Oh, so we're also looking to the current feeds we have, and I've been pretty unsatisfied with Rwanda lately. I've been pretty unsatisfied with Rwanda lately. There's been a lot of mistakes with their feeds, so I'm actually looking at moving our feeds away from Rwanda to another feed I think actually performs better. Another thing you can see is that we have this offset here, right? So you can see between the calculations right now and the actual price with my broker, there's about 3 points. So by the time this thing goes up here, it will be about 3 points behind. So I think this is a pretty good spot. And again, it's just a tiny position just to illustrate if this thing actually works. And you can see on 5 minute time frame, on 5 minute time frame, this is a tiny thing. It could easily go much higher. So, when you're trading a certain time frame and you're putting on trades here, that means you're also gonna take profit based on these levels, in my opinion, to really stay consistent. Because, the speed of a 1 minute time frame compared to 5 minute time frame or 15 minute time frame, it's very different, right? And it could easily go up and touch here, come down, touch the support level, and then bounce immediately right back up, and we would miss out on that profit from the short position. And that's not really the goal. The goal here is literally just to keep repeating and making money by just basically doing mean reversion on these bands. Now, if you guys have some feedback, or if you have some ideas, I'd love to hear it. Because, you know, this is just the team and I working on this, seeing how can we, you know, what can we do to make what we believe is the best possible way for people to extract money from the financial markets. So let's add a stop loss to this tiny position in case that the market does go totally bananas. There we go. And there's no reason that we wouldn't add a target as well. Something like this. So that's pretty much a risk reward of 1-to-1. I heard gold is really performing today, so we could go have a look at gold as well. All right, so interesting. We're even getting a setup here. Now, I'm not too interested in taking this setup right now because I already seen a lot of weakness here. And I think these neurons are a little bit confused. They're giving me the same values roughly here as an SPX, so I have to investigate that. Or maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it has, maybe it understands the context of the current markets well enough to do this. But I think gold down here would be a buy. I'd love to buy gold down here. I would love to put in a buy order at 15 minute here. I would love to scale in the position here, to be honest. Keep an eye on SPX. It's probably gonna make some move fast. So you can see that it's already expanding its volatility right now. I think the reason that these values are so static right now is because this is a model trained on 1 million SPX candles on 15-minute time frame. And this is what I'm saying. I think what we need to do is that we need to really consider all these different options of the time frames, of the markets, and build models around them all and figure out which one really works the best. But I just think it's so cool already. I think it's super interesting what it's able to do at this point already. Okay, let's see. Philip says, if I see a possible short on 4-hour resistance with 30%, but I take the trade in 15 minutes with correlated short on the same level. But I don't think it will be the same level, Philip, right? Like if we look at 15-minute time frame right now, and you can see we got the level up here, and at the same time 4-hour is showing all the way up here, right? So this is different compared to the old X mode level, because in the old X mode, this was definitely something you could consider. It just doesn't apply here anymore because the time frames here shapes the levels very differently, where X mode, the original X mode, uses all the different time frames to sample together the support and resistance and try to find an alignment between the different time frames. So this is different. J-God says, how come the support and resistance levels are always symmetrical? I noticed the same with X mode. Why that is? So if you if you study, if you look into like Fibonacci, Gantt box, all that stuff from the ancient times where they developed, their, Gantt box indicator, and they developed, like Fibonacci and so on. There was a lot of study around this, which found that when the market moves, it tends to move in, what can you say, symmetrical fashions of 1/8. So typically, you would be able to map out a market, let's say like from the low to the high here, and you're able to draw 1/8 between the top and the bottom and have really accurate levels that the price interacted with. And when they looked into this, why this was, it's because of human psychology. There's something in our minds about 20%, like 20%, that really makes the human mind tick. And in stock trading, or it was primarily in stock trading, because this is like 80 years ago when they were looking into this. They found that, the humans behind the desk trading these markets would crowd together and make mistakes or work in patterns together whenever it came to this 20% rule. And that's why you see asymmetrical resistance and support levels in very similar ways, because that the human mind, the way that it works and the way that our psychology works, is that just around that 20%, 20%, 20%, 40%, 60%, these 20% intervals, you will see that our monkey brain just completely disconnects and starts doing emotional stuff. And it's very interesting, but there's something about 20% that just really makes our brain tick. So that's why. I hope that makes sense. Dean is asking, can you use AI to calculate the possible direction, a predictive predictive basis to identify the demand areas? Well, that's kind of what we are working on right now. You can see gold here is coming down now. I think this would be a great buy. We also gotta keep an eye on our 1 minute position. So I think we gotta move this a little bit up. And the same here, because the market has changed. And this is the difference between the old X mode and the new neural X mode, is that this does real-time updates for every single candle, whereas the old X mode would just simply, what can you say, the old X mode would simply wait for certain rules to be met before it would perform an update. And I think it did really well. This worked really well, but at the same time, whenever the market started pushing into resistance, it seemed like it was just a little bit behind, to update the levels. So Dean, the answer to your question is yes, that's what we're working on. Phillips asks, does that mean there's no worry to analyze higher timeframes as long as we follow the trend RTD, just focus on trading a system with a static timeframe? No, I think in order to trade lower timeframes, you gotta have a pretty good understanding of how timeframes, how all these timeframes work together. Because if you don't understand the volatility on a 1 minute time frame, that, like here for example, that the market could very easily just spike above this level in one candle. If you don't understand the difference between the market's ability to spike in a single candle above this, and then doing it, let's say, on 4 hour or 1 day time frame, which is much less likely and doesn't occur as often, right? Let's have a look at gold here, because it looks like it just bounced. maybe it would have been a good trade. But you can see now the trade is down here before it was up here, right? So this is really fascinating. So I also think that it's really worth exploring to do a model itself to figure out what is the best time frame to trade, and depending on the price action, meaning depending on the price action of the market and how it's performing, where do we trade? Do we trade 5 minute? Do we trade 1 minute, 15 minute? Where is the money to be found? So right now, my broker is about 3 points behind. So that means that we need SPX to touch about 102. 102 here, we'll get our entry at this level. So yeah, this is I think it's very exciting stuff. I think it's very exciting. Now, the next thing we're looking into right now, because one thing is the new Neural X mode, the other thing is the core updates we've done to the existing strategy mode, which is giving a 95% win rate. It's crazy. And you know, I don't exactly know how Andrew did it, our engineer, but it's very impressive what he came back with. I think we need to focus on just making trading simple. Okay, it looks like we got a little bit of movement here. Let's see if we can get it. So we want to keep moving. We want to keep moving this according with the trend. Let's see if we get a spike here. Looks like we're getting a spike now. Let's see, a little bit more. Come on, a little bit more. So, JGuide is asking, what do the percentages mean? The percentages are a way to predict the strength of the levels. That's what we are attempting here. We're attempting to teach the AI to predict the strength of these levels. So, for example, when it's saying minus 19 up here, that means that this extension level up here is weak. And the same way it's saying that this support level is weak, but it's saying the extension level down here is strong. So it's very fascinating because it's saying, for example, this level here right now is strong. And that's why we really want to get an entry here. See if we can get an entry. Just need a little bit of spike. But yeah, guys, again, this is very early days. I am looking to see what we can do to roll out a preview. But sorry, I was mentioning something before. I didn't finish my thought. We have really good backtest results based on trading 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, 15 minute time frame, but it's all based around a bot trading it. So what I'm looking at is that can we actually release this trading bot and let you guys access it? Because that would be fucking sweet. And I don't think it's that far-fetched, you know. I think it's very doable. I'm really pleased with the results that we're seeing on the backtest right now. It's seriously good. Seriously good. It's like, I don't actually understand, but it's like 95% win rate across all major pairs with high liquidity. Bitcoin, SPX, GBP, USD, all of them. Yeah, you know, the whole idea, and this also goes for Companion, you know, is that if we can actually deliver these results, and I mean, you have to consider what is the difference between the back test and then forward testing. Well, there is some difference, which is that not everyone will be able to get these results depending on their broker, because some brokers have really shitty spreads, and you're just not gonna get an entry all the time. Those entries that really matters. So we also need to, you know, find out like how do we configure this in a way. Okay, let's see. Do we get an entry here? Let's see if we get a spike. But what I'm saying is that in order to make a bot that's really successful, like crypto is good because you don't have the same spreads as you have in forex, you know. But at the same time, in crypto, you know, you got to focus on the high liquidity pairs. You can't really be trading these altcoins too much. So that's a very big factor is the spread. Now, of course, you can pay IC Market. You can pay IC Market for a raw account, and you'll pay $3.50, $7 to round trip a one lot trade, right? And that might not be maybe that's not such a bad deal, you know. If that's what it means, if that's what it needs, if that's what you need to get these good entries and not worry about the spread, that's not so bad. Oh guys, we're running out of time. Running out of time. I don't know. It's surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that SPX is not doing anything here. It's just been. It's not like it barely even moves for 30 minutes. What is this? It's nothing compared to the volatility yesterday. So. You can also see, it's interesting. You can see the volatility bands expanding. You can see the volatility expanding the bands. It's very, you know, it's good to see. Gold is still on the move. So it looks like coming down. Cashin King is asking, why is companion less than 1 cent? It's a very good question. I think the reason it's below 1 cent is because people are selling. Look at that. Volatility just came in. So the Nigerian campaign that I was working on, I realized there was a problem. And the problem was that everything that we did, teaching people how to move money out of Nigeria and convert their dollars at a much cheaper rate, is that people actually didn't need to use Companion at all to do it. They didn't need to use the Companion peer-to-peer market to do it. So what they did need in order to do it was that they needed the X-mode algorithms, they needed RTD. They need RTD to find a strong trending market, and they need X-mode to find out where they should buy and where they should, where they should get into their hedges. And that means that they actually don't need Companion to do it. And I just thought it was kind of pointless to launch the campaign when they could essentially just circle around it without needing to use Companion at all. So I talked with the team and I said, hey, what can we do to do this, to fix this? Well, the Nigerians, they need to buy the Breakfree Trading software if they actually want to be able to perform these arbitrages. They have to buy the software, but the software is $69 a month. So that can be a hefty sum for a lot of Nigerians. So I thought, okay, why don't we do something else? Why don't we allow people who have staked Companion tokens to get a subscription to Breakfree Trading, so they can buy the Companion tokens, stake them, and that's the way they can access the algorithms they need in order to perform the hedge. And I think that's a really good approach compared to just giving out the method where they're not required to use Companion and they just go buy Breakfree Trading. That's not what we want. We want people to buy Companion token, right? So what we're doing is we're implementing a new subscription in Breakfree Trading where people can use stake Companion tokens to access the subscription to do the arbitrage they need to do. But to do this, it takes a little bit of time. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit of time. But the problem in Nigeria is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And yeah, guys, the token price is whatever the token price is. It's like, of everyone in the world, I think I hold more tokens than anyone else. So if anyone has been destroyed by the token price, it's probably more me than it's you. So don't worry, we will fix it. But for now, there's a lot of people who just are impatient and want to sell. It's okay, let them sell at 90% loss or whatever they want. It's whatever, right? But like I said, I haven't sold a single token. I have bought more token than anyone else on the market, and nothing is gonna change that. But at the same time, we gotta take care of Breakfree Trading. Like, we raised funds, many months ago, and if we didn't have Breakfree Trading, Companion would be bankrupt by now. Like, it wouldn't exist. Nothing would be pushing it forward. So we gotta make sure that the main business also does well and gets attention, because for the past 1.5 years, we've been working on Companion non-stop. And if we want to survive, this, these challenges in the new world, with the financial challenges across the world, then we got to make sure that we make money. And Companion is not in a position to generate profits at this point. So we're doing the best thing we can to make sure that Companion will survive and do well. And it's in everyone's best interest, especially mine. But for now, I don't care if people want to sell. Let them sell at 1 cent or whatever they want to sell it. It's stupid. Yeah, it almost hit it. Not bad. Now we got the 15-minute. We're still getting a minus 30% rating here. So I think if we're gonna buy, we're gonna be buying down here, right? So why don't we put up some buys here? Let's see if we can get a quick move here. Maybe, oh, we gotta account for the offset, right? Like how much offset we have between 2 points now. We got 2 points between the Wanda price and my broker's price. So we gotta offset this a little bit, but I think it's all right. Will upcoming elections and the potential new president to make Africa one country will affect? No. So what's going on right now across the world is that all the central banks, European Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, the central bank in USA, central bank in Japan, the central bank in fucking Africa and everywhere, they're all trying to limit people's access and ability to transact in crypto. They're all trying to do that. And that's because that the value of their money is fading faster and faster, and crypto is basically just eating it all. So in Europe, I don't know if this was a joke. I honestly don't know, but I think this is legit. In Europe, they say they just implemented a limit on 1,000 euros max that you can do a private transaction of $1,000 with other people. It's just fucking crazy. Like, these people are fucking arrogant, trying to limit people's ability to transact. They will get burned. The world is gonna rise against these people and it's gonna run them over. And you can see it already starting in France and across the world. Like, these people are playing games that they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out. Easiest way to buy Companion is buy some. You have two options. You can buy some USDC and withdraw it to your Companion wallet, and then you can go to the exchange. You can buy at the current market price, or you can go to the website Companion TO and you can buy with credit card on the website. So you have two options. But what I'm saying is that these people in power right now, they're gonna fuck around. They're gonna find out. They will find out the hard way what happens when you push people too far, and they're gonna try to do every single thing they can to stop people from moving money into crypto with wire transfer and so on. So no, the peer-to-peer exchange will have a really good life and will have a really what can you say, like a really essential part of defeating the governments. But it's hard marketing a crypto app these days. It's rough times, that's for sure. So if we want Companion to succeed, we need Breakfree Trading to succeed. That's the way I see it. And that's why we're focusing so much on improving these core algorithms that has powered Breakfree Trading, because these are the same algorithms that's going to power Companion and the AI Companion to help people automatically buy, sell, and transact. Oh, looks like we're 10 minutes past time, but come on, I just wanted this entry on SPX. So I think next week, guys, when we come back to here, I think we will have an updated X mode version of this newer X mode with a better model that's not so static and gold coming down, huh? Look at that. I don't really understand. I think maybe I have some error in my code because it should not be giving the same values here on these two markets at the same time. So there's something wrong here. Need to have a look at that. Okay, now we got a gap of almost 4 points. PK says, read about Paxos shutting operations in US government. US government giving a hard time, yeah. But the US have a lot of problems. The US has a lot of problems. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there, but it looks like an empire that's falling right now to me. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. Okay, let's see if we can get some entries here in this volatility. The US, like, I don't know what happened, but all these ideologies over there, they just seem to fight each other. They all seem to hate each other, you know, like all these different fractions, you know, and it's, I don't know. I used, you know, when I grew up, you know, the whole world was admiring the US, and it was like, you know, this huge superpower, very, you know, the world felt safe, and the world felt like it was guarded by the United States. And now it just seems like it's these people are just fighting each other, and there's just so much terrible shit happening. There's so many homeless people, there's so much greed, there's so much corruption. The politicians, the the drugs, the opioids, you know, and it's so many problems. It's just so sad to see, honestly. It's really sad to see, because, you know, all the innovation in the world that I believe is really essential came from the US, and I really would very much like to see these guys stay in check and keep protecting the world, because I think there's a lot of bad players out there. You can see what Russia is doing, right? If it wasn't for the US, I don't know how well Ukraine would be doing. And yeah, PK saying they're selling the BTC they recover from. So it's so fucking stupid. Why would they sell 10,000 bitcoins for US dollars when they can literally print, and they do print US dollars every goddamn day? In, you know, they just printed, like, what was it, like, was it $300 billion to bail out the banks, and then they sell 10,000 bitcoins for $200 million. Something's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's fucking stupid. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. You know, instead they should recognize that, hey, Bitcoin, you know, Bitcoin could be like our way out of our problems with our currency, and they should embrace it. And they should embrace the Bitcoin they have. You know, they should sit on that 40k, 40,000 Bitcoins. That's a good fucking amount. That's a good chunk, you know. And they just sell it for worthless paper that they are already hybrid. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's like, I don't know who made that decision, but they should. And that's the problem. The decisions that the governments make around the world, they're so bad. Like they're so stupid. And I see the same in Denmark. These governments and the politicians, they're so stupid. They're so stupid. They're so short-sighted, and it's like they have no brain, and they have no relation to like the real life, the real struggle that normal people go through. I hate them. I mean, so PK says that maybe they're trying to flood the market and create imbalance. Yeah, okay. So what happened when they sold those 10,000 Bitcoins? The price didn't even go down. It went up. It went up like 10% after that. And then another 10% after that. So it's like, and 10,000 Bitcoins is not even that much. And remember, you can only sell one. So now they sold 10,000. What they're going to do? They're going to sell 30,000 more, and so what? It will be the stupidest thing they can do. So yeah, guys, I would sit around here and wait for this, but I think we're gonna need a little bit more time before something happens here. But that's the goal, you know. The goal is to really sit and wait to get a really good opportunity and then execute on it. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I look forward to come back to you next week with an improved model and show you the progress. So thanks for coming to the live stream, and don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, put a comment if you want, do all of that, and let's just keep moving forward. I think we have really exciting stuff coming for you guys. Just wait and see. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for coming.